It seems our last interview person has not shown up. We've given some length of time and have called, and we have not gotten a response back. So I think if we have a consensus here, should we go forward without, I think we're given enough time to have the person respond. So is everybody in agreement that we move on from Courtney, Joe, anybody?
This would be
I mean,
pending the normal things like background checks and figuring out salary
yeah,
and
yeah,
so that doesn't work out
yeah,
with
yeah,
then
yeah.
to
Right.
come back.
So do I have, what I have handed out to everybody is a number by, obviously, two of the candidates here. So if we're gonna make a motion for, if anybody wants to make a motion for the person, use that number. What I will do is, we'll go by whatever the vote is on that. I will contact them and we'll go from there, because that's basically, we'll have to wait and see if they accept the offer, so.
Okay.
All right. Anybody like to make a motion? My personal belief is the chair, unless it's an extraordinary circumstances, should be making a motion, so.
Yeah, you're supposed to entertain it.
You're right, yeah, entertain the motion, right, so it's not a lack of, that I'm defined here or anything.
Right.
I have my thoughts, but I would like to have someone else make a motion here.
Well, surveying, I usually have a little speech here before I make a motion. Surveying what we have before us tonight. Unfortunately, our third one didn't show up, because I like to, heard that one too. That's what we're here for tonight. I would make a motion to extend the position to number 57.
Should I do roll call on this?
No, you have to have a second.
A second, yeah, I need a
Sorry,
second.
I'll second.
All right, any more discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call?
Courtney Coster,
Yes.
Donna McBride,
Yes.
Patrick Feeney,
Yes.
Joe Hutchins,
Yes.
Kathleen Martin.
Okay. All right, I will extend that offer to the candidate, and we will go from there. I think, I understand this has been a tad bit of a bumpy ride on this, everybody. But I think we persevered through it.
Well, I'd like to make one comment on that. It wasn't that bumpy. You can't put the cart before the horse. We had to find out what our finances were, and we had to find out what we're gonna do. When we're gonna go for just a parks director, but we're splitting it up. And it's taken a while to get there, but we got there. We decided to have a parks supervisor. So we had to know where we were with the public money. What was what we could budget for and stuff after we got our separation from our previous director. So we followed it finally, A, B, and C.
Right.
It started out with C at the first, and we had to back that up, so.
And although you're right, Mr. Hutchins, that it was a bumpy ride, I think up until this point, there was really no action that needed to be taken by a supervisor per se. So the park kept rolling along until the fact is now, starting up for the season, it's time to put this person in place.
Go to action.
Right. Okay. On that note, we will move on to.
No, we have to have a vote. Oh, we had to vote, excuse me.
Yes, we did.
I got
I
beside
mean,
myself. I'm gonna get out.
we could reinforce that vote, but I
Yeah.
think we're good with the first one there, so. I was like, what, did I forget that? So on to second comment by the public. As the first time, 4 minutes. Mary Blanchard, would you like to speak?
Mary Blanchard, 3444 Old Creek Drive. And I would like to say I have not been involved, and I've heard different things and that. I was impressed tonight with the order that you had and the process, and like to see that going forward. it seems like there's not just with parks, but through all the boards, there's a lot of negative things that are coming out in community. And the problem is that we do not have an unlimited number of people who are willing to serve. And the more problems that arise, the harder it's going to be to attract people. So I appreciate, like Joe said, you taking the time, make sure of your process and the funds and all that. And hopefully this will be a good start and on to something more positive. The other thing I would encourage, though, is that you get back to the point of having this Parks Board do your own process and not be involving the township. Because this is supposed to be an independent board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, can I do this on my own? This is something I never noticed, or do I have to ask to adjourn?
No, we still got more on the agenda.
Do we?
Oh, yeah.
What do we have on the?
We ain't done with this tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, council comments. I was eager to go. I apologize to everybody. Council comments, I apologize. Start with Kathleen, how's that?
Seems like I'm on the hot seat.
How does that feel?
I'm okay.
Hey, how does it-
I'm okay. I'm good. I'm still sitting. I guess I would just like to address a comment that was made in public comments earlier, formally, regarding the cancellation of several events. I think that we're aware, and I think the public was aware as well, that the reason that the cardboard sled race was canceled was because of the lack of snow. That was an important component, and so that we had no control over that, unfortunately. The second would be the egg hunt, and that is an unfortunate circumstance. However, that takes several months to line up a date, to order the prizes that the kids get, and then begin the process of stuffing the eggs. As we had a lot more pertinent things going on, and special meetings happening, and other timeframes that did not fit throwing the Easter egg hunt. Unfortunately, we did decide to cancel that as well. You know, and it is a tradition that Holly Township Parks has liked to carry on through the years. And it's unfortunate that we did have to cancel it. I think there's other matters at this point that take precedence over that. Once we get the positions filled and whatnot, I think it's gonna be a lot smoother. It's gonna be a lot easier for the parks to move forward. There are several other opportunities that I've seen pop up throughout the town to where, you know, Holly Township Parks might consider not throwing the egg hunt because there's so many other ones at the same time, you know, really closely nearby. So it is something going forward maybe we'll take another look at down the line, but I'd like to thank the people that were ready to step up from the church that we're gonna go ahead and partner with us again this year, and thank them for stepping up and being willing to help us all the time. So I think that's it for me. Donna, the nice one?
No, remember, I'm not now, I'm cranky.
Uh-oh.
Got a couple of things, on the comment of not knowing that truck, that we voted for that truck to be scrapped. Every one of us can say, we voted to have that truck scrapped. Kirk knew that. Instead of having it scrapped, we now have paid $500 to have to keep it. It might not have been October, but I don't believe we said October. I think it was said October or November. It was in the minutes. We have had problems with the minutes. It was a big problem, and I brought that to Kurt. And only when he found out that we were in trouble did those minutes come out. Second of all, he had a mower paid off, $3,000 mower, without coming to the board. So if you're trying to say that he did his best, there were problems. I agree with Mary, we need, you know, it used to be that we used to be able to pick who we wanted on these boards, we would interview them, and then all of a sudden, an old law came in just because somebody didn't like the picks that we had, and now we have to depend on another board to pick the people to be on our board. That means everybody that voted for us, their votes didn't count. It means our votes don't count. And I really don't like that. Okay, I'm done with that. Sean, I appreciated you being on the board. You had integrity. I talked to you personally, so I know your reasons. And we all have to do what we have to do, but you're going to be missed. And thank you for your service. And that's it.
Courtney?
I just wanted to apologize to you guys, not just for tonight, but last week when it was a really important meeting because I wasn't able to come due to, I guess, family trouble. My grandpa passed away, but I knew it was a really important meeting and I hated missing it anyway. And so it looks like I have some catching up to do. I would like to thank Sean too. He did a really good job all the way through. And he's always positive. Well, mostly. Just kidding. That's it.
I've been on this board for almost 25 years. Never before has anybody interfered with our pick. We're the ones that have to live with our board members, good, bad, or indifferent. We've always gotten along, except for the last few terms. If people would do their homework or find out, you know, I've lived in the same house with the same phone number and the same address since 1976. Everybody in town knows me. If they got a question, it's easy to get a hold of me. I got a phone number and I got an address. If people take it upon themselves to disregard or not ask questions. Fortunately, everybody heard in the newspaper about the hat. The hat got his. Everybody knows who we're talking about, the hat. And this board has always prided itself, and these parks have always prided themselves on positive. Positive, positive. Positivity built this country and built this town and built this board and built this community. Not ne'er-do-wells and bad people that talk bad about us. And I'm glad to see that they're starting to clamp down on people on the electronic media. People just can't go around running their mouths no more and get away with it. And hats off to this board tonight. We're still going forward, despite all what's happened. And maybe in the future there'll be less in our way, because we're going places. If we want to see anybody else in this town, we look in the rearview mirror because we're ahead of everybody else. And that's because people care about parks and rec. And some of them are out here in our audience tonight. Harvey Sorensen. He put a lot of time, a lot of hours, and did a lot for the whole community, Township Parks and the whole village. Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have to say. And Mary Blanchard also with him. Mary's been very active in there. You won't hear no negative comments about anybody, whether they like them or not. You'll never hear negative thoughts come out of either of those two people's mouths or ours. And thank you, Sean, for your input on our board. That's all I have to say tonight.
Well, my quick wanting to end the meeting was to spare you from hearing from me, because I think the community would probably say in pretty unison that they hear a lot from me. Couple of things I just wanted to come up with. On Sunday, on meeting with the softball league, we're having a managers meeting, so that is moving forward on that. Mary, our from the office is going to be helping me out on that, which her love of baseball is kind of contagious. So, and hoping we're going to get that up and going. Something I just want to address at what's happened in the last week. And we have people here this evening that, as they just spoke, we owe gratitude. We have a park because of the gentleman who was named after. So, that's something greatly appreciate. But something I see lacking in this room, and from the reaction of how we made our selections, I've gotten an earful and some pretty outrageous comments made. Which, that happens. I've seen that before. It's nothing new. My disappointment is many of the people who encourage these people to speak up, and I don't think they knew how outrageous some of the comments would be, but they encouraged them. Or they should have probably done a little bit more checking about what these people were going to say. And these people that I speak of are some of the people involved in our community. I think anybody on this board can tell you we see a lot of people who are deeply involved in our community on a regular basis. I've seen in the last 2 weeks a lot of people that have, according to people that have come out and given me an earful, they have been advised by. And my question is to those people, to our community activists and leaders are, where are you? I've not been asked questions about the Township parks. I'm there. And there's nobody in this room or in this town that's going to sit there and say I'm a hard person to approach to talk to. You might run in after a while hearing too much from me, but, and disappointment. It's not anger, ladies and gentlemen. It's disappointment. We could use your input. We could use your criticism. The last week of criticizing us for that last meeting, really? There's been about a year's worth of board meetings that there would have been some legitimate criticism. I think our board members would say some of the things, we have had to do, or, difference of opinions. Let's not say criticism, and you haven't been there. And quite frankly, we have, I refer to it as our hidden gem in Sorensen Park. The reason why it's hidden is because we have people that just want to totally ignore it. But boy, when there's a question or when they don't get their way, well, they come out and say the most outrageous things. I was probably my blood pressure was getting up just a tad bit until one totally outrageous one was, and this has actually happened. Someone says, "You lied. You do not live at 210 Franklin Street." And I did. I broke out laughing. My daughter thought I was crazy. I said, "Why do you think that's so funny?" I said, people in this town will say, "God, I've heard that at village meetings. I've heard it at township meetings." It's like, to say I don't live there? Then I had other people saying I was committing election fraud, that I had picked somebody of my own choosing against the board's will. I was like, you do know they were in the same room with me. So to some degree, some of it was so outrageous, you just have to chuckle. But there were some comments that were very direct. And it's like, calling me a liar when I pointed out, here's the law. And Kathleen sent me a copy of exemptions on information that could be given to the public. And it's like, I was like, how do you come up with calling someone a liar when they're showing something that's printed? So, not to get too bogged down in that. But the thing is I think when we're looking at a committee, and when we're looking at involvement, please come out. Please be here. Pull us aside. Ask us questions. What are you doing? I don't think there's a single person here that won't sit there and give me an answer. So what I'm asking for is a little bit more community involvement. And on that note,
Please, Chairperson, Mr. Meany, you mentioned the managers' meeting at Sorensen Park. What time?
Oh, I apologize. 3 p.m.
3
p.m. Yeah.
And it is at Sorensen?
Yes, it is at
Clarify.
Sorensen's, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to the softball league this year. They really stepped up and helped, you know, and I think we're going to have a good season this year. So next thing is, let's get the fields in shape. But that's on for the next meeting. So at this point, what time
Oh,
is it?
one more
Oh,
comment.
yes.
The last couple of days, I gathered up all of our battery-operated stuff, our DeWalt stuff, our Ryobi stuff. Charged all the batteries, made sure everything worked. They're all in the storage room at the Nature Center. Tom is putting them up there so we can find out where everything's at. I instructed him how to charge the batteries because they're dangerous batteries. So I've gone through that, so we're ready for spring. I checked the tools. The Dodge truck runs. The quad runs. The only thing that I still got to work on is that lovely John Deere tractor.
Well, we'll be looking forward for a report about that.
You will.
Okay.
Yep.
If I may, one more item, because I always want to get the public's assistance, just like you guys. We have the tea pouring coming
Oh,
up
but
April
I guess,
1st. The public
that's-
is more than welcome to come. We're going to pour the teas for the disc golf course.
The disc golf, yeah, Flint
Yeah,
Flyers,
yeah,
weather,
so anybody's
weather
welcome.
permitting, obviously, you know, it's like, you know, it's a, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, so yes, anybody, and we will, I'll be putting a thing out on
More
Facebook
information.
on, yeah, more
Absolutely. I
information
just
on
wanna
that.
get it out there on the-
Appreciate that, I forgot about
And I
that.
just want to thank the Flint Flyers because you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They most certainly. All right, on that note, at 7:57, I call this a meeting